So today I'm going to be doing a book talk for Did You Ever Have a Family by Clegg. I feel like probably everyone has heard about this or knows what this book is about, but I buddy read it with Eleanor from Eleanor Reads Books last week, and it was so much fun. It was a blast. So I just wanted to talk very briefly about it. In case you don't know, this is the story of a family that basically goes through this horrible tragedy. There's a fire, and a young girl and her fiance die. And did I say there's a fire? There's a fire. And they die. The girl's father dies, and then the mother's new boyfriend dies. They're all in the family, but the mother is spared. She's outside of the house when all this happens. And yes, it is very interesting. I gave this 3 stars out of 5 on Goodreads. It's more like a 3.5. The ending really picked up for me. The first bit of the book I felt was not slow per se, but it kind of feels like, I don't know, there's just a lot of like weird things about the book that kind of grated on me a smidge, and I noticed them more in the beginning. There are a bunch of different perspectives. There's like 8 or 9 different perspectives, and for the most part, I feel like it was okay, but there were a couple that I was just like, there's one in specifically that I'm thinking of that I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to give anything away, but yeah, so I thought that was a little unnecessary. It's also, when I was reading it, every perspective kind of feels the same. They have the same like narrative voice. There's nothing different. Like I've read other books where there's multi-narrative perspectives that are first person and they sound completely different because they're different people. Not everyone thinks the same. And I feel like they all had the same voice, and I noticed it and I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I went back and I checked, and the other perspective was actually third person. So I noticed that there's different third person and first person perspectives. And when I was talking to Lena, I was talking to Ellen about that, and she recommended Lena and Lauren's video. So I'm going to link that below if you want to watch it as well, where they talk about this book. And they kind of discuss the third person, first person thing. And like, I guess kind of, but I don't know. There's a cat. Cat. I closed the door this time. So I just thought it was kind of like, I don't know, weird. And I feel like there's also a difference in tense. It seems like some things are past tense and some things are present tense, but I didn't notice this was happening until later in the book. And so I don't know what exactly. A lot of the, I could just be confused because a lot of the like first person narratives, they talk about something that happened to them, and so it could just be that they are present tense but they're discussing something that happened in the past. But to me it felt like there were different tenses in the book, and there's definitely different, like it jumps back and forth in time, and so I just feel like these things were not necessary, and just, I don't know, I noticed them and then I was like, oh, I can't unnotice it, like when you hear it ticking in the background, and then once you notice it, you can't unhear it. But in general, the book was very good. It's a very quick read, and it's very easy to read, and the message, I think, is very beautiful. I really like the fact that the story is told, it feels like all the narrators and narrations are like super far away from each other, and it just feels like they're getting closer and closer and closer together. So that's when it started to pick up for me was when they were much closer, and we start to kind of like get glimpses of what happened the night of the fire. And yeah, I thought that was really good, and it dealt a lot with grief. Every single character in this book has some kind of grief and guilt and secrets and something that they wish they had done but they hadn't, and just different ways that it just shows different ways that people deal with things, and how we use each other to deal with our grief, and how like a community can build on that kind of, I don't know. I thought it was very beautiful. I did think it was very beautiful, and I cried towards the end because, again, the message that this book has is absolutely gorgeous. So I do think it's worth the weirdness. And I really almost gave it a 4 the second that I finished because I was just like tears falling down my face. And yeah, but it wasn't quite there for me just because I can't get past those other things like that happened. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this book to you if you haven't read it. So yes, thanks for watching. Hope everyone's having a great day.